The McKinney Lions mirror the Boyd Broncos in a way. Both district champions a year ago. Both went to the fourth round of the playoffs. And like Boyd, the Lions are set up well to do that and a lot more this year as Coach Alan Pocock joins us now. And Alan, that district season is upon us. How ready is your team for the grind?
About as ready as I think we can be. Over the last months coming off of our playoff run, I think that we went from being a team that I saw as reloading, getting ready for the upcoming season, having a very experienced core of at least attackers to go forward, and bringing up some of Coach Ellis's JV champions to fill in virtually every defensive spot, goalkeeper spot, starting and reserves, as well as a number of midfielders, to really rebuilding after several players moved, Derek hurting his knee, a couple players having to drop out of high school play because of their academy teams, and really left us quite decimated as far as experience, with only one, starting the season with only one varsity starter returning.
And yet McKinney is 4-2-3 here at the end of non-district. We look at some of the highlights from early in the season. First, Alan, scrimmages that are so key in soccer, especially. You were able to scrimmage Frisco first, and that's a matchup that is able to help shape your team going forward.
Sure. We have kind of a tradition. We go to each other's campuses, rotate. Wiley and Frisco and us a tri-scrimmage at the beginning of the year, and Wiley shut us out, but that was our first test for this young defense that we have. I mean, combined, all 5 defenders that I've used plus goalkeepers had a total of maybe 60 minutes of varsity experience, Drew being the only one that got minutes late in the season in playoffs last year. But it did quite well to come out of there with with a shutout against Wiley and then 3-1 against Frisco, and those are shortened scrimmages. So I was very encouraged at the result in those matches, so much so that we're pretty confident now going into what I think is a pretty challenging 4A tournament, the Dr. Pink tournament that Frisco ISD puts on out at Pizza Hut Park. And looking at the schedule we had there, I was a lot more relieved after our opening scrimmage success, knowing that we were going to be taking on 2 state-ranked opponents in North Dallas and Wakeland, and came away with a win and a tie.
You were able to beat North Dallas 3-2 in that event, then the scoreless draw with Wakeland. Overall went 2-1-1 in that event. It's building confidence for a team that, like you said, might have been decimated for one reason or another, transfer, academic issues, otherwise, and yet you're still able to put together a winning record.
Yeah, I think it speaks to a couple of things. First of all, the great job that Matt Ellis does with the JV group. I mean, he's been district champ every year that he's been here. Now is his 6th year, and so I mean, these are guys that are used to playing with each other, which helps a lot as far as chemistry, but to get thrown into the fire there right from the opening weekend, not being able to watch, so to speak, an experienced varsity player for a half and then sub in and go from there can be difficult. But I mean, it also speaks to, I guess, just the tradition that the previous teams have set as far as being successful, being competitive, and knowing what I expect out of them, at least.
Senior J.T. Hawkins has been a force offensively yet again, second on the team in goals last year. He's leading you this year with 7. And J.T. was on the Dr. Pink Invitational All-Tournament team. He had 4 goals in those 4 games.
Yeah, he proved to be, the first 3 weeks of the season proved to be pretty deadly if he got in behind your defense. That was without a doubt, But I mean, speak also to, Chris Garza, Derek Horvath, Jason Horvath, as far as distribution of playing them in. We went from a team that had, really a pretty dynamic attack to be able to pressure a team from any angle in any situation to with the absence of all we got 18 faces gone to begin this season that were a part of the team last year, and 15 new faces on varsity that were not varsity players last year. So, we wanted to, the first couple of weeks, find out, okay, what are we good at right now against these, not just varsity teams, but state-ranked varsity teams with a good resume of their own programs, and let's just accentuate that. If it's 1, 2, or 3 positive areas that we have, well, let's keep on working those to see how far we can get. And of course, now when you're opening district, people have scouted you, people have seen, your stats possibly. Well, not in Dallas Morning News, I guess. We're not going to get that still for a while, but. They've the rumors out about you. Oh, watch for this guy, watch for that guy, and so we're forced to make sure that we're adding to our, so to speak, arsenal.
You followed up the Frisco tournament with a run in the Lovejoy Leopard Challenge. This was a tournament that your team won a year ago. Didn't win the title this year. You took home the consolation championship, though, and you finished strong with wins over North Dallas again, and then 1-0 over Little Elm in that consolation championship game, in which you had 16 shots on goal. What was working well for you overall in that tournament? Well,
it was good. We were looking forward to getting senior Derek Horvath back from his knee surgery, and while I certainly didn't want to throw him right into the fire immediately, even though he got the full release for that, we certainly needed his influence on the match, psychologically, physically, tactically, technically, but we really got a wake-up call to begin with. That Thursday game, scored in the opening minute and then couldn't hit the back of the net again and tied Gainesville, defensive gaffe of ours, blunder, gave away a corner kick, and just a terrible job dealing with that corner kick, and the game ended 1-1, even though it was, I think, 23-2 shots on goal. And then followed it up Friday night with another real head scratcher, dominated possession, but again, miscommunication from our young defense, and cost us a goal, while we couldn't find any luck hitting the back of the net. So that, just beginning that tournament with a tie and a loss, there was certainly going to be an early test of the, what's the mentality of this team, what's the maturity, what's the psyche of the team, and tinkered a little bit with the lineup for the last 2 games, and resulted in, a resounding 3-0 win against North Dallas, and then 1-0 against Little Elm, our district rival, for the Constellation Championship. So I think we were all elated to get the opening 2 games off our backs, and to see that, hey, we are going to be rewarded this year for hard work and being persistent and disciplined in taking on our opponents. So I'm glad to get that off our backs.
No games last week because of weather issues. You were supposed to play Prosper in the district opener Friday. That's been moved back to Monday, today. You'll have 3 games in 5 days coming up this week to open district play. But overall, you have 3 consecutive shutouts. Your last outing, January 27th against Frisco Liberty. Go back to the Lovejoy tournament before that. And that has to be a tribute to the steady play of your senior goalkeeper, Chuck Schober, as well as the back end that has really no experience to its name. Includes a senior, 2 juniors, and a sophomore.
Yeah, I've been pretty proud of the steady improvement since those opening games of our communication and just plain execution. Still probably got a long way to go, but and working on some things even this week. But yeah, anytime that a new defense, a new squad, a bunch of new varsity players can pull off 3 shutouts in a row, that's a good sign. And we're looking for our attack to also balance out with the kind of effort that our defense has been showing each night.
I asked Casey Osborne this just a moment ago. I'll ask you, what's it going to take to repeat as a district champion?
I think that we're going to be a team that can't shrug off mistakes that might cost a goal here or there and still come out with a 2-goal or more win, like we had been probably the last 3 or 4 teams I've coached at McKinney, because we've got so many new, young, inexperienced players on the team. So it's going to have to, for us to repeat that, we're going to have to certainly take one game at a time and making sure we're concentrating on it and limit our mistakes, make sure we're covering for each other, as well as limiting our, let's not get in the situation where we're pushed to make a mistake. Let's limit the opponent's scoring opportunities as much as possible, while somehow still being able to keep the same, even though we got totally different personnel attacking, keep the same kind of pressure on a defense that we hope creates or gives us some scoring opportunities. It's certainly not going to look like the same kind of soccer if I look in the crystal ball, but do I think we'd have a chance to do that, to repeat? Certainly anything's possible when you watch a game of soccer, even this last weekend in pro games, but the challenge is going to be much more difficult this year, and right now, our number one goal is to improve each game and do what we can to qualify for playoffs.
Alan, we appreciate the time. Best of luck.
Thanks very much, Ted.
Alan Pocock, head coach of the McKinney Lions, a team that is loading up the schedule this week. 3 games in 5 days: Prosper Monday, Denison Tuesday, and crosstown rival McKinney North on Friday. Tough early road for the defending district champions. And that is our show for today. Next week, we will preview the girls basketball playoffs. Remember, if it's McKinney ISD Athletics, it's on Sports Talk. I'm Ted Emrich. See you next time.